If you thought the Nazis were the last people to conduct human experiments during the Holocaust, you couldn't be more wrong. This site on the dark web serves as an index that provides documents for performing your own experiments in concentration camps. The website claims that, apparently, they have multiple warehouses where they perform such despicable experiments on humans. They conduct experiments such as injecting a pregnant woman with bleach, starvation, radiation exposure, and even sterilization. The website details that these humans being experimented on are homeless people abducted for the sole purpose of experimentation. That is just sick. I think their slogan says it all. Not all humans are equal. For some of them were born superior to others. There you have it. Now you are more informed about the atrocities taking place every day in the deep web. There have many instances on the deep web where users have repeatedly found terrifying live streams. Some guy stumbled on a live stream where a girl was sitting in a chair and commanded people from the chat window to tell her what kind of abuse she should do to herself. After many cuts, bruises, and eye gouging, the girl eventually killed herself on the live stream. This is not the only case where people have brought harm to themselves on a live stream on the deep web. These live streams are popularly known as red rooms. Even terrorist organizations have started using these platforms to conduct criminal activities and torture. Unlike these people, I'm very happy watching Rick and Morty and other funny shows online when I'm bored instead of searching for this type of streams on the deep web. Just my humble opinion. What do you think? The following is a true story. It was my third time on the deep web, and I was just looking around at sites. I found this one guy's homepage, and on the sidebar, I saw a link that said, "For journalists and people new to the deep web." I obviously clicked on it, hoping that it was interesting and helpful information. A new page opened, and a picture started to load. Thank God for my slow internet, because all that loaded was the head of an old man pretty much looking dead, with blood on his chin. I quickly closed the tab before the rest of the image loaded. To this day, I wonder what the whole picture was, but at the same time, I am thankful I didn't see it. Or at least, that is what I want to believe. My slow internet saved me from seeing something truly gruesome that day. Now I wonder, should I go back to the deep web and see the whole picture? Since then, something sinister is pushing me to go back and look at the entire picture. I cannot explain it. Like in the movie The Ring, or something similar. It is like something remains incomplete, or undone. Like I was supposed to see it that day. Have some else experienced this? I wonder. Child pornography is prevalent in the deep web as much as regular porn on the surface web. However, this next case takes a bit too far, and reminds us of the dangers of the deep web. There's a snuff film of a sexually abused and tortured girl who made headlines a while back. The video was widely distributed amongst pedophiles on the deep web, and the larger internet community got a hold of it on popular websites like 4chan and Reddit. The video was made by Australian official douchebag Peter Scully, who was arrested in the Philippines on the charge of making multiple child abuse videos. Want to know more about Peter Scully? Tap the link at the top of the screen to learn more about these degenerates of the deep. Imagine this. If you, or a person you know have an ex-girlfriend, and you want to get revenge on her, there's a perfect website for you or anyone you may know to fill it with nudes. You miserable creep. The website operates on the deep web, where users can upload nude pictures of their ex-girlfriends, eventually leading to harassment of the person in the picture. The website is now defunct due to multiple lawsuits. However, there's another website that has sprung up since its demise. The address is At work, we often got bored and dicked around. Who doesn't? One day, we decided to dive into the deep web and see what we could find. By far, the most disturbing site we encountered was a comprehensive guide for cooking humans. We're not talking about a short joke here. This website had detailed information on what body types to use for specific cuts, how to prepare them, and how to cook the individual, so they live as long as possible. It really horrifies me there's people out there taking the time to put all this information together. Do you want to know more? I'll say you head to the deep web and find out. I warn you though, you do this at your own risk. This was back before Google. Web pages were, for the most part, still elementary HTML with JavaScript. Hardly anyone used CSS. Only discussion boards and some banking sites had anything approaching mature front-end/back-end combinations. One day, I was browsing random blogs, just going from link to link. Eventually, I came upon an odd page. It appeared to be random thoughts from different people, but for the time, it was very well designed. The messages seemed to be cryptic in nature, like several people trying to pass secret notes. I started through the source, and hidden in the comments of a JavaScript were various IP addresses. I gathered all the IPs in a text file and began enumerating them. Some were routers with banner messages. I could telnet to almost all universities. Statements like, "Warning. This is a secure system at University of blah blah blah." The default credentials from back in the day worked on most of them, but I didn't poke around. A few of the IPs were web servers with little to nothing on them, mainly Apache on Linux or some BSD. I finally came upon a web server with a huge directory of HTML files and images, with a few smaller subdirectories containing the same. NSLOOKUP returned no reverse records for the IP. The software I used traced it as far as Colorado. The HTML files appeared to be records a psychologist or similar mental health professional would keep. The images were of faxes, apparently of both military and medical nature. As I browsed from a subdirectory back to the parent, a new HTML file named hello/there.html was at the top. The timestamp was from right that minute. I opened it, and in plain text was the message, "We see you." No quotes, all lowercase. About 15 seconds later, the server dropped.